Hi there, and welcome to another brief bite of eCritical. Today we're going to go over a few tricks and tips from the system that will help you visualize patients better. Now to start, you can see on this screen, this is the MD summary page, and there's a lot of information already on here, but let's say for the sake of argument today you'd like to actually, in the respiratory section, not just have the current parameters here, but also would like to see the tidal volume, and you'd like to see that in line with all of the other data. So what you do is you can jump to the respiratory tab, and well, there's the tidal volume right there. Obviously, quite a generous tidal volume for a neonate, but you know, he's probably doing quite well. So we want to take this and to another to the MD summary page so that we can see it with the other data. All you have to do is just put your cursor over the name of the parameter, right click, and you see at the bottom here there's a copy parameter. And if you click that and then go back to the page that you want, you can then right click again in the area you'd like to do it and paste it. And you can see now, in line with the rest of your data, you've now copy and pasted the minute ventilation for this patient. This allows you to view in a numerical way data over time. If you'd like to see it in a little bit more detailed, or if you're a more graphical person, you can start graphing this by clicking on the parameter again and then selecting the parameter data viewer. This will show you all of the numeric values for this patient from the time of admission, which is quite a lot of detail that you probably don't want to know. Let's say for the sake of this example, you just want to see the last 2 hours worth of minute ventilation, because remember, these are being captured every single minute. So you select last for the last 2 hours, and then hit the apply, and it will then show you just the last 2 hours worth of data. And if you want to graph it, click on the graph button, and you can see here that there's been a pretty stable minute ventilation for the vast majority of this patient's time. You can change your parameters that you want to see by clicking on all. You can do the last or first time interval, or you can set the time interval manually if you like. Anytime you make any changes, just hit the apply button and it will show you a new graph with that once you hit the graph button. Now this is very nice, and it gives you a nice overview, and it also allows you to copy so you can then take it to another application if you like, but it only shows you one variable. Now let's say you would like to actually see 2 values graphed against each other, or even 3 values graphed against each other. And eCritical gives you the ability to do that. So let's close this. And up at the top here, we didn't talk about the Add a Graph button, but if you click on that button, you'll see that there's a number of different graphs that are pre-made that you can use to graph a wide variety of different parameters, and such as the 24 hours worth of data listed here, which right now isn't showing you any data, and we'll just close that. But it's just a preset graph that you can use. But probably the most helpful is under the Add a Graph is on the fly graph. And this is basically just a blank sheet that allows you to graph parameters against each other as you like. So let's say, for example, here we'd like to graph the oxygen saturations and the heart rate against the minute ventilation, just to see if there's some trend there that might be of interest. You just have to click on the title and then just drag it down and let it go, and then grab the heart rate. You can see that it's coming down, and let it go, And we move that minute ventilation over. Let's go and let's take a look at that and graph that. And click and drag it down. And there you go. And so now you have a graph of 3 variables against each other over time. And just like with the individual columns, you can adjust how fine-grained you want your data depending on what kind of information you're looking for. You can do this with any variable that's numeric. So things like the mode, as you can see, is not a numeric variable. So trying to graph a non-number is obviously not going to provide any information. And you can then, anytime you've taken a look at all your data and you want to get rid of this, you can either remove the view, as so, or hit the refresh button, and it resets everything back to the way it was when you started.